Hello and welcome to my 2016 New England Patriots season in review video. This has been a video I've been promising for a while now, and here it is. Finally, I got up off my lazy ass and finally made this video. Sorry about that. I really would like to apologize. If you guys want to know more about why this video is coming as late as it is, you can go back and watch my Julius Thomas video. I get more into detail about that, but I don't want to do that here because it's a waste of time. It's not important. We're here. Let's talk. 2016, not really the best year, and the NFL was no exception. You have Colin Kaepernick's whole thing. I'm not going to get into that because it's old news at this point. The NFL ratings were very low, which is why they kept changing up the primetime games, and that really wasn't helping at all. 2016 was definitely a very bad year for the NFL, unless you're a Patriots fan or a Falcons fan. And let me just step to the side for a second. Falcons fans, if you're watching this, first of all, thank you. I really appreciate the views. Second, I don't want you guys to think that I'm going to rip you a new ass or I'm going to brag or anything. This is a Patriots video, so I might come off like I'm bragging, but trust me, I'm not going to rub it in or anything. I'm going to do my best to stay as classy as I can, like always. But I wanted to say, you guys should definitely be proud of your team. There's a lot of upswing to Atlanta. They're a young team. They have a young defense that's only going to get better. I think you guys are heading in the right direction. I think Atlanta is definitely heading in the right direction. And, they made their second Super Bowl in franchise history. That shows a lot of promise. I think they're on the upswing. But I just wanted to point that out. I just wanted to give some congrats to Atlanta. Let's talk some Patriots. Yeah. So the offseason was very interesting for New England. They brought in guys like Chris Hogan from Buffalo, Chris Long from St. Louis, or Los Angeles now. They traded for Martellus Bennett from Chicago. And later on in the season, they brought in Michael Floyd, who got cut from Arizona after getting a DUI. Matt Lingle, I forgot to mention him. They brought him in later in the season too. That was really interesting. So these were the new guys coming onto the team. Great additions. So let's start with the season itself. New England was going to be without Tom Brady for the first 4 games of the season. As you guys know, the Deflategate scandal reared its ugly head again. And Tom Brady got hit with a 4-game suspension. Whatever, I'm not here to talk about Deflategate. Point is, Tom Brady sat for the first 4 games. There was a lot of questions coming into the season. Would Jimmy Garoppolo be able to handle himself? Would the Pats be okay without Brady? And, they went 3-1. Jimmy Garoppolo finished the first game against Arizona, had a really good game. They beat Arizona. Then they played the Dolphins. Jimmy Garoppolo left the game with a shoulder injury. Jacoby Brissett had to step in and finish it. He did. They started 2-0. Then Thursday, later that week, they played Houston. Shut them out 27-0, but bad luck would rear its head. Jacoby Brissett got a thumb injury, a torn ligament in his thumb, and unfortunately they lost to the Bills the next week, 16-0. It was the first time they had been shut out at home since I can't even remember. I think Drew Bledsoe was still the quarterback when they last got shut out at home. So it's been a while. I can't even remember the year. They went 3-1 without Brady. A lot of people thought they would be lucky to go 2-2. That was like the goal that everyone said. If they can go 2-2 without Tom Brady, they'll be fine. And I got to be honest with you. I'm an optimist. I'm a huge Patriots fan. I've been a Pats fan for 16 years now. I'm also, I already said I'm an optimist, so I try to look on the bright side of things. But even I kind of had my doubts going into the season. Like, this is going to be interesting. This is going to be tough. I'm hoping they can go. I wasn't expecting 4-0. I wasn't really expecting 3-1. I really don't remember what my expectations were. I'm happy they went 3-1. And then Tom Brady came back and just absolutely tore it up for the entire season. Ended up being an MVP candidate this season. He finished second behind Matt Ryan. Well-deserved MVP award for Matt Ryan. The only game that New England lost this season with Tom Brady starting was a nail-biter against Seattle. The game ended at the 1-yard line, much like Super Bowl 49. So that was really cool to see. Yeah, and another interesting note: the New England Patriots went undefeated on the road this year. They went 8-0. They overall finished the season with a 14-2 record. They were number one in the AFC this year. Number one seed in the AFC. I'm sorry. And this should go without saying. They won the AFC East. They won the first round by home field advantage. This was basically tailor-made for New England to make it to the Super Bowl, because New England's a very difficult team to beat in Foxborough. But as I said, they were undefeated on the road this year, so some people kind of picked at that, like, home field advantage, but they were undefeated on the road. The only 2 losses were at home. So yeah, there was definitely some question, and I did videos about the playoffs this season as they progress. So if you want to go back and check those out, you can. I'm not really going to get too much into detail about every other playoff game. I will say, though, going into the playoffs, a lot of people expected New England and Dallas, arguably the 2 most hated franchises in the entire NFL. Whoever's number 1 and number 2, well, that's where the argument comes in, at least in my opinion. First playoff game was against Houston. First half wasn't looking so good. They were kind of struggling. Houston's defense was they were like the top defense at the time. So it was definitely a struggle. It looked like they were struggling. Second half came around, New England turned it up. They picked off Brock Osweiler 3 times, and they sealed it. Went to their 6th straight AFC Championship, which is a record. I might add, that's mind-boggling that they actually set a record against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh, yeah, they had the trio of Ben Roethlisberger, Le'Veon Bell, and Antonio Brown, the 3 Bs, as I've heard them referred to as. And admittedly, I had my doubts about this one. I thought it was going to be a tough game for New England. Le'Veon Bell didn't finish the game. He left early with an injury. And New England kind of beat them pretty soundly. I think New England handled them pretty well, and they advanced to the Super Bowl. Now, before I move on, I want to point out that Chris Hogan actually broke a record in this game. I think he broke, if I'm not mistaken, he broke Deion Branch's receiving yards record in an AFC Championship game. That's awesome. That is really awesome. Yeah, this was geared up to be a great Super Bowl. This was the number 1 scoring offense against the number 1 scoring defense. Historically speaking, number 1 defense typically wins. All but one time did the number 1 defense win, and this was, well, no exception. I don't think I need to get too into detail about the Super Bowl itself. Atlanta was up by 25 points at a point in the game, and I'll tell you a little story. If you guys didn't watch mine and Vinny's video, Super Bowl review, I was about ready to quit. I was literally at the edge of the stairs, because my house, yeah, my living room's upstairs. I was literally at the edge of the stairs, about ready to walk down, go in my room, and just stop watching the Super Bowl midway through. Which I've never done. I have never stopped watching a Super Bowl in the middle of the actual game. This was almost the first time, but I stood there. I thought about it. Said, you know what? Even if they lose, I got to show that I'm gonna be a fan. I'm gonna be a good sport about this. I went back and finished it, and oh my God, I'm glad I did. New England pulled off the biggest comeback in Super Bowl history. The Patriots won. And another thing I forgot to mention, now that I think about it, the Patriots have been to 9 Super Bowls as a franchise, which is the most in NFL history. Tom Brady won his 5th ring, which now he moves into the category with Charles Haley as the second player. Tom Brady is the second player in NFL history to win 5 rings. He's the first quarterback to have 5 rings. He now has 5 rings on 7 appearances. And if I remember this correctly, he holds, I think 11 Super Bowl records. Just insane. The man is definitely going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. James White also set a record in this game for the most receptions in a Super Bowl with 14. I believe it was 14. Yeah, it was 14. A lot of people would argue that he should have been the MVP. I definitely see the argument. I'm not going to disagree with anybody who says that James White should have been the MVP. I don't disagree. I absolutely do not disagree. I was happy that it was Tom Brady, though, because if you guys have seen my short film, 13 Years of Patriot, you would know Tom Brady has always been like a role model for me. I've always considered him an idol, so I was very happy to see him win his 4th MVP, Super Bowl MVP award. He's the first player in NFL history to win 4 Super Bowl MVPs, and which is just mind-boggling. The things that this man has accomplished. He also played with a very heavy heart. We learned that his mother has been, I think, battling cancer, some kind of illness. I heard it was cancer. From what I've gathered, she's doing better now. But it's just it's so tragic to hear about that. And it was fun. It really makes this whole thing that much more special, in my opinion. Overall, this season was a roller coaster. Very tough to get through for a lot of people, myself included. The Patriots, though, this was just a really, really awesome way to end the season for Patriots fans like myself. I could not be happier with the end result of this game. I watched that last play from James White, and I still get chills. I still do. Well, there you have it, guys. That's the New England Patriots season in a nutshell. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, guys. You have no idea. I'm really sorry about all the delays and how long it took me to get this video out there. But nonetheless, it's up now. You can enjoy it. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comment section below. How did your team do this year? What team are you a fan of? How did they do? Were you happy with it? Were you not happy with it? Whatever you want to say, throw it in the comment section below. Thank you again for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Follow me on Twitter. Check out my Facebook page. If you want to buy like a T-shirt or something, anything, check out my Redbubble page. All that is in the description. Have a great day, guys. If you're not having a great day, I hope it gets better. Until next time, I'm Justin Crumley, and this is Cujo Productions, signing out.